the same I continued, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Has she come?
Okay.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Next.
Pranam, Prabhuji.
Okay, we'll start.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Om Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nastapráyeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamastoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatam Munde Shri Guru Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshatarani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Text 25.
Hare Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Chapter 1, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Text 27. Idhani dharma padhaste satyam nirvarthe yedhatya tam jigrasthya adhorma yama arthanya aditya kaliha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: You are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along. But parallel personified Kalki, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg. Purport: The principle of religion do not stand on some dogmas or man-made formulas, but they stand on four primary regulative observance, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The mass of people must be taught to practice these principles from childhood. Austerity means to accept voluntarily things which may not be very comfortable for the body, but are conducive for spiritual realization. For example, fasting. Fasting twice or four times a month is a sort of austerity, which may be voluntarily accepted for spiritual realization only, and not for any other purpose, politically or otherwise. Fastings which are meant not for self-realization, but for some other purposes are condemned in the Bhagavad Gita, 17.5 and 6. Similarly, cleanliness is necessary both for the mind and for the body. Simply bodily cleanliness may help to some extent, but cleanliness of the mind is necessary, and it is affected by glorifying the Supreme Lord. No one can clean the accumulated mental dust without glorifying the Supreme Lord. A godless civilization cannot clean the mind because it has no idea of God, and for this simple reason, people under such a civilization cannot have a good qualification. However, they may be materially equipped. We have to see things by their resultant action. The resultant action of human civilization in the age of Kali is dissatisfaction. So everyone is anxious to get peace of mind. This peace of mind was complete in the Satya age because of the existence of the above mentioned attributes of the human being. Gradually, these attributes have diminished diminished in the Treta Yuga to 3/4, in Dwarpa to half, and in this age of Kali to 1/4, which is also gradually diminishing on account of prevailing untruthfulness by pride, either artificial or real. The resultant action of austerity is spoiled. By too much affection for female association, cleanliness is spoiled. By too much addiction to intoxication, mercy is spoiled. And by too much lying propaganda, truthfulness is spoiled. The revival of Bhagavad Dharma can save human civilization from falling prey to evils of all descriptions. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So you're talking about the bull dharma standing on one leg, which is the truthfulness, whereas other three, that's cleanliness, then austerity, and mercy, all three are gone. So that's why when Prabhupada started ISKCON, the first he brought this four regulatory principles that, those who want to take initiation, at least they should follow these four regulatory principles. That no meat eating. No meat eating means there is mercy. That's because if I eating meat means I'm killing other jiva. So there's no mercy, there's no daya. Then you talk about no gambling. No gambling means no austerity. Sorry, the truthfulness. Because when there is gambling, you cannot be truthful. You have to tell lie. Then no intoxication. No intoxication means no austerity. Austerity means because when you drink, you don't have control over your own senses and tongue. So no austerity there. Then no illicit sex or sex outside marriage. There is no cleanliness. So these are the four things Prabhupada brought in because that's the foundation of Dharma. Because Dharma stands these four legs. So here it's also that whereas the bull is standing on one leg now, which is also trembling, and whereas a Kali is flourishing because of deceit and all the bad things. Because that's what we can see. This is talking about beginning of the Kali Yuga. Now over 5,000 years, this has been become worse and is going to become worse. Prabhupada talks about four principles and mainly talks about austerity. In case of austerity, he says voluntary things. We take little austerity or little difficulty voluntarily. For example, he says fasting on Ekadashi day, twice a month, and fasting on disappearance of days of acharyas. These are the days fasting. Now, that fasting actually spiritually helps, and also mentally and physically and materially also helps, because by fasting on required frequency, your body gets rehold or cleanliness happens. Otherwise, if you're continuously eating, the body has no time to cleanse the body. So this fasting helps. And it's also mentioned that those who fast on Ekadashi days, their chances of getting cancer is less. This kind of research is being done. And also talks about a cleanliness. When talks about a cleanliness, external cleanliness, yes, we can use so many detergent or soaps, whereas internal cleanliness happens only with the practice of bhakti yoga, and specifically that cleanliness disturbed when you have a relation with the opposite sex outside the marriage, so illicit relationship. That because that cleanliness is not just the dirt, it is a consciousness. The consciousness gets kind of disturbed, or consciousness becomes impure. That's why cleanliness is important. Also, it says that can be removed. Those accumulated dust, says accumulated mental dust, can be removed by glorifying the Supreme Lord or hearing about the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because our mind is filled with so many things, and that has to be removed. That remove means something else has to come in. Like in a glass of, if you have water, if you want pour more water or more something else, suppose you want to the glass with the water, if you want to pour milk, you have to remove certain water in that. Otherwise, there's no place. Similarly, my brain is full of the accumulated material dust. I have to fill that with the spiritual things. That means something will go out. That's why we have to keep hearing. Prabhupada says hearing is the main part of devotional service. So otherwise, the society is, because in the age of Kali, people are dissatisfied. Nobody is happy. When I'm dissatisfied, I will get into so many other problems also. That's why Prabhupada says they are so anxious to get peace of mind, but they don't get that. They get everything peace only. Because there's peace of mind is not possible, because this place is place of Dukhalaya. How can we get happiness here? Happiness is not possible. You can get happiness only when connect to the Paramatma. Otherwise, this Atma cannot be happy, because this place is like that. So Prabhupada talks about here on the final stage, the revival of Bhagavad Dharma can save human civilization from falling prey to the evils of description, all description. So following Bhagavad Dharma, following the guidelines of scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that can save the human civilization. Otherwise, the so-called human being are too like the animals only. That we have to come out of the animal consciousness to human consciousness. That's the first level. Prabhupada one place says, if one person has to call himself a human, he has to follow these 4 regulatory principles. Those who don't follow 4 regulatory principles even cannot call, because one who eats meat means he is killing another jiva, which is like animal. Having a illicit relationship like animal. Animal has no, animal doesn't see his wife or mother or sister. It doesn't see that. That's animal consciousness. So that's why we have to come out of it. Anyway, animal doesn't have, the truthfulness anyway. Animal is always truthful, because, but that's applicable to human. Okay, so we'll move on to the next sloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Right.
Canto 1, Chapter 17, Text 26. Iyam cha bhumir bhagavata nyasita urubara sati Srimad statpada nyasai sarvatah krita kautukaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The burden of the earth was certainly diminished by the personality of Godhead and by others as well. When he was present as an incarnation, all good was performed because of his auspicious footprints. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So Prabhupada has not given any purport this. Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur writes that Narosithuru Bhara means she who had her heavy burden created by the others, demons, herself, her own weight removed by the Lord. So generally, no mother will be kind of will be burdened by the children's weight, whatever the children does. But when the same child is become a criminal, that mother feels burden of that particular child, not weight. His behavior makes mother to feel that. Similarly, here the so many demons created the burden on Mother Earth, and that is being removed by Supreme Lord by killing those demons. So in our life also, our life is full of the demons, demon mentality that has to be killed by bringing Krishna in our life, building holy name in our life. The holy name comes to our heart. My demons in my heart, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, Lobha, they will get out. That's the activity I have to do. 27.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Text 27. Sochati astru tala satvi durbhagevo jita sati aprahamanya nirupa vyaja sutra poshyanti mam iti. Translation purport by His Divine A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami ki Jai.
Jai.
Translation. Now, she Now she, the chaste one, being unfortunately forsaken by the personality of Godhead, laments her future with tears in her eyes. For now she is being ruled and enjoyed by lower class men who pose as rulers. Purport: the
Who pose
Kshatriya
as a
are
rulers?
the Kshatriya or the man who is qualified to protect the sufferers is meant to rule the state. Untrained lower class men or men without ambition to protect the sufferers cannot be placed on the seat of an administrator. Unfortunately, in the age of Kali, the lower class men without training occupy the post of a ruler by strength of popular votes, and instead of protecting the sufferers, such men create a situation quite intolerable for everyone. Such rulers illegally gratify themselves at the cost of all comforts of citizens, and thus the chaste mother earth cries to see the pitiable condition of her sons, both men and animals. That is the future of the world in the age of Kali, when irreligiously in when irreligiosity prevails most prominently, and in the absence of a suitable king to curb irreligious tendencies, educating the people systematically in the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam will clear up the hazy atmosphere of corruption, bribery, blackmail, etc. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.
Now, Mother Cow or Bhumi Devi, she is chaste, being unfortunately forsaken by the personal God, laments her future because she knows her future will be bad. Because Kali Yuga is going to be worse. So here it said that Kshatriya, or the man who is qualified to protect the sufferers, is meant to rule the state. So the rulers should have the Kshatriya quality, and their only job is to protect the citizens, not for their own enjoyment, not accumulate money. But today what happens that in the name of democracy, they become, of course, they are demons mentality, and they rule and they accumulate wealth, and they kind of exploit common people. That's what happens. The Prabhupada says they are untrained low caste men. So what is the training, Vedic training required to the rulers, what they should do, what they should not do? Like that, that's why the olden days they were called Raja Rishis. They are not ordinary. Yudhishthira, Parishit or Janaka Maharaj, they are all Raja Rishis. They were fully trained in scriptures. They knew exactly what is good for the people, and they will do that. They will not do anything for their own sense gratification. But today, no qualified Kshatriyas, the Shudras are, taken the position of the ruler, and they, because of the money, because of the caste, because of the religion, they get vote and they become rulers. So Prabhupada says they themselves, they gratify the senses, they themselves at the cost of all comforts of the citizens. Now see the society today, there is no administration. On the top of it, there will be heavy tax. We can see what's happening in our in certain states. Heavy tax, and there is no proper facilities. That money, whatever tax money given, we don't know where it goes, in the name of so many freebies or guarantees that's been distributed, and those monies been wasted for liquor and things like that. So there is no economic development also, there is no work is happening, and there is no proper administration is done. That's why we need, Prabhupada says, we need a suitable king who can curb the religious tendencies and educating people systematically, teaching the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam teaching has to be given and systematic way, then only the clear up corruption, bribery, and blackmail can be stopped. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Murli Prabhu. Murli Prabhuji can read 28th.
Prabhu, are you there?
Prabhu. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not able to zoom this 1 minute, Prabhu. I'm reading it on mobile. You read, Prabhu.
Okay.
Somebody. It's hard. It's very.
Dharma mahim chaiva satyavit tatve tvam maharataha nishatam 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 adhate kadam kadgham kalaye adharma khetam hetave. Can you read the translation, Prabhu? Translation purport.
Maharaja Parikshit, who could light 1,000 enemies, who could fight 1,000 enemies single-handedly, thus pacified the personality of religion and the earth. Then he took up his sharp sword to kill the personality of Kali, who is the cause of irreligious purport. As described above, the personality of Kali is he who deliberately commits all kinds of sinful acts which are forbidden in the revealed scriptures. The age of Kali will certainly be full of all activities of Kali, but this does not mean that the leaders of the society, the executive heads, the learned and intelligent men, or above all the devotees of the Lord, should sit down tightly and become callous to the reaction of the age of Kali. In the rainy season, certainly there will be profuse rainfall, but that does not mean that men should not take means to protect themselves from the rain. It is the duty of the executive heads of state and duty of I missed it, but does not mean
State and
it is the duty of the executive heads of the same of the state and others to take all necessary action against the activities of Kali or the persons influenced by the age of Kali, and Maharaja Parishad is the ideal executive head of the state. For at once he was ready to kill the personality of Kali with his sharp sword. The administrators should not simply pass resolutions for
anti-corruption steps.
anti-corruption steps, but they must be really with the sharp swords to kill, ready with the sharps to kill the persons creating corruptions from the angle of vision of the recognized
Shastras.
The administrators cannot prevent corrupt activities by allowing
Wine shops.
They must at once all close all shops of intoxicating things and wine and hence punishment even by death for those who indulge in habits of intoxication of all description. This is the way of stopping the activities of Kali as exhibited herein by Maharaja Parishad, the Maharatha. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here, Maharaj Parishit, who could fight 1,000 enemies single-handedly. So he was so powerful. He was not an ordinary king. So other side is personality of religion, dharma, in the form of bull, and Mother Earth in the form of a cow. Now this personality of Kali, who is in the form of king, who was punishing the bull, Now, Parshit Maharaj took up his sword to kill the personality Kali, who is in the religious. Here, Prabhupada says that in this age of Kali will certainly be full of all activities. Kaler dosh nidhe raj nasti ekoma guna, he says. Then also says that Kali Yuga is full of miseries, and Manda Sumanda Bhagya is people are in this age of less their praya reduced, and they are always disturbed. Manda Sumanda Bhagya Upadrita. They are always Upadrita. They are disturbed. These are the nature of Kali Yuga, and this is going to increase only. That's not going to reduce. So, but what Prabhupada says that the executive heads, they should take the responsibility and they should understand Bhagavad Dharma. They should practice Bhagavad Dharma and teach Bhagavad Dharma, and they'll protect the executive heads who are so-called Kshatriyas. They should do that. Prabhupada here says that they are not simply to pass resolutions, no lip service, they should action it. Today what happens that, oh, if something happens, okay, we will take strict action, we will do that, but nothing happens. The person maybe sometime not get arrested also. Even if arrested, within few days he comes out on bail, then case goes on for years together. In between he does so many other crimes. So there is no action taken, there is no punishment happens. Even if there some statement is made and people are happy, or sometimes some compensation given, that's finished. The crime is done. Another reason Prabhupada says intoxication, opening wine shops, because this is the one reason for corrupting the mind. So we have to stop that. That's why Prabhupada always talks about 4 regular principles. No intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, and no illicit sex. These are the 4 things we have to do. There is no other option. So all of us should seriously think about it. And when you talk about this, there are little intricacies in these 4 regular principles. When talk about no meat eating, in that onion garlic also included. So we have to consider that also as part of the meat eating. And in case of intoxication, tea, coffee also included. So we should avoid that also. In case of gambling, the unnecessary investment in the gambling of like equity shares or daily trading, this also should be avoided. So as much as we are, and in case of cleanliness, yes, illicit sex is not allowed, but even the mental thinking about the illicit relationship also should be avoided, because sometimes talking each other and the kind of a free discussion or the loose talks with the opposite sex should be avoided. This is what kind of spoils our consciousness. Thus, we should, as much as practicing devotees, we should take extra care on this. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura writes here, he took his sword in order to kill Kali. The expresses that the king's intention. By seeing the sword in my hand, let this person wearing the marks of King One come to fight with me. I will quickly kill him. So this is how the kings used to give punishment. This is how the Manu Shastra talks about. Manu Shastra also talks about one who kills, he should be killed. One who does a thievery, his hand should be cut. So this is the punishment is given so that that person gets punished so that you don't have to suffer again in the hell so many lives. And also others who see that, they will understand, they will learn, and they will not commit more mistakes, more sins. So law and order has to be done. So punishment has to be given immediately, not wait for 10 years, 15 years, then do some simple punishment and leave, or no punishment. That's not the law. Okay, I'll stop here. Devotees can share comments. Sumit Prabhu, want to start? Or okay, Uma Shankar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Prabhuji. So one thing in today's class take away is that the more stress should be given on that 4 regulative principles. We should avoid meat eating, gambling, illicit sex. These things we have to avoid. And also in the case of gambling, we should also avoid the stocks, everything. It actually keeps everybody in always in a dilemma. And even this intoxication, it's told. So nowadays it just become so that every street there is having a liquor shop, even though if it is also locked for some reasons due to public holidays or anything, it's available online to be delivered directly to the home nowadays. So it's a very pitiable situation and currently that we are facing. So only thing, if you concentrate on the 4 regulatory principles and chanting, we can come out of this problem. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sumit
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking on mute that time. Then I realized I was on mute. So the 4 regulative principles, these are the 4 pillars of dharma that can be actually established on these regulative principles. If we follow these regulative principles, then those pillars can be given strength. So that's why Prabhupada actually introduced these 4 regulative principles in ISKCON, so that that followers can give a strength to this 4 pillars of dharma. And after that, the next shloka, we saw that how the modern leadership is without like any qualification, just because more people are voting for them, they are becoming political leaders. They have become the MPs, MLAs, and they are not like that much qualified, but just because they won the election, they come into the power. So the ideal system is for the government to, or we say that the previously monarchy was there. So monarchy was for the Kshatriyas. So they were trained and they were the righteous protectors for the society. So they were given training not only in administration, but they have that Vedic knowledge as well. That's why the rajas were called Raj Rishis that time. And after that, in the next shloka, how the influence of Kali is actually affecting more and more degradation is coming. So it leads to more and more corruption and moral degradation in the society. So there is this time it's the need is for like reviving our Sanatan Dharma, so that we can more and more people can practice these regulative principles, and with that they can practice bhakti, and the dharma can be reestablished. Yeah, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sridevi Mataji, want to say anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji.
So the bull is standing on one leg, that is truthfulness. The other 3 are not, not practiced in nowadays. It's gone, like austerity, cleanliness, and truthfulness. Austerity here, Prabhupada explains that simple fasting on Ekadasis is austerity. But actually, we should do in a bhakti way that austerity. Then it will be austere. If we do it, Ekadasis is for the purpose of Lord in a bhakti way, not for reducing weight or for some other purposes. That cannot be austere. So actually in Bhagavad Gita also, it says the same thing. Austere for the purpose of Lord is good, and for other purposes it is condemned. So we have to follow the 4 regulatory principles. That is actually, it is the 4 pillars of the human this thing. So for your dharma. So we have to be very strict in following the 4 regulatory principles. Then actually, this the Bhagavad Dharma studying the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, introducing Bhagavatam to the human beings, then it can, for some extent, clear. For some extent, all these. I mean, not all these activities can be, which cannot be done, which should not be done. All these activities can be condemned. Then actually, Kshatriyas and these Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, Kshatriyas who are nowadays in the age of Kali, Kshatriyas are who are qualified, who are not qualified. They are not. They should rule the state, but they are not qualified. And the lower classes of men, they are ruling the state. They are administrating. The lower classes of men, because of their for their self gratification, they do all nonsense, and they do not follow dharma, and when they are ruling, they do everything for their own sense gratification, and they do not care about the general public. So that type of administration is going on.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Murali Prabhu.
Prabhu, if one keeps on correcting himself, then people will automatically see, and then they will come out with their problems, and we have to give them the Harinam. Is that the way, Prabhu? Or and if one person is born in a very low class family, like they are not following 4 regulative principles, how will he come out, Prabhu?
Chanting.
Chanting. Okay.
First chanting, then things will happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Mayappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Today's texts are and our ISKCON and our founder Acharya, everything is go on emphasizing on effective implementing of 4 regulatory principles: austerity, mercy, no gambling, no illicit relationship. By fasting, Ekadashi fasting helps cleaning the body by externally as well as internally. Cleanliness, it should clean not only body, but we must get cleansed by our consciousness, and mental cleanliness is more important to remove the dirty from the mental this thing and fill with all devotional by hearing devotional services. And peace of mind can be achieved only when connected with Paramatma. One must come out of animal attitude. And children are generally not burden for the mother, but when the children become criminals, they are unbearable, and it is difficult for the mother to bear the burden. And rulers should have the Kshatriya qualities. Olden days, Rajarishis have been professionally trained to take care of citizens, whereas present leaders are self-centered, no proper administration, corruption and criminal activities are rampant. And Parikshit Maharaja's capability is to fight against 1,000 enemies single-handedly. So executive heads must be capable to protect citizens. And again, the wine shops, certainly this is a important this thing. Everyone must think of this wine shop culture. If mind and all this thing, all our thoughts must be cleansed. First, on priority basis, wine shops must be closed. Unless it is wiped out, it is very difficult to bring in the basic civilization. But whereas we don't know whether it is because of Kali Yuga or this thing. But the ultimate solution is always we must try to share the Krishna consciousness and encourage everybody to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is the only solution. That much I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Yeah, when closing may not be possible in our hand, but at least we can preach others. Once they preach, they take up Krishna consciousness, naturally they stop drinking. So if everybody becomes devotees, naturally wine shop will close. We don't have to close wine shop separately. Because if forcibly close wine shop, something else will start. So best thing is to preach Krishna consciousness, distribute as many books as possible, do Harinam Sankirtan as much as possible, and now the Ratha Yatra is coming. Each apartment can do one Ratha Yatra. Yes, Ratha is there with us. Each apartment, so that those who see Jagannath on the Rath, on their millions of life sins gets cleansed. So we don't have to do any of the other things but just simply give Krishna consciousness, simply give prasadam, things will be happy. My humble request, those who are in apartment, please arrange in your own apartment. We all can do that 1 week time, daily we can do Ratha Yatra, so that Jagannath's mercy can save. Because with our tiny brain, we may not be able to do it, but Lord comes, He can do wonders. We can do that. Yes.
Prabhu, but last sloka it was mentioned Maharaja Parikshit, like we have to some liquor shops and all should be closed possibly.
I mean, for them it's possible, but in our level, what we can do? We don't have power, right?
Okay. And also one thing I've noticed, Prabhu, if you wear tilak and go out, they'll move away from the picture, Prabhu. Like not that will happen, Prabhu.
Okay.
We are not able to interact with them. They'll move away from the picture. So,
Okay. Archana Mataji, anything you want to say? No, Asha Mataji.
Mostly covered, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. But Bull is standing on one leg and Kali is flourishing. So to establish Dharma, all should follow the four regulative principle. And fasting should be done to achieve the spiritual goals and not for any other purpose. The mind is always filled with dirt, and to take out the dirt, we have to fill our mind. Rather my mind with other things like reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, chanting, etc. And demon in my heart should be killed by bringing Krishna into my heart. That's my takeaway for today, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kripasindhameva Patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. See you on next Monday.
Pranams and Hare Krishna.